Man, dog. I don't never go live on YouTube and somebody ass went live on YouTube. I'm in here trying to sign these CDs, and I look. Wait a minute, my Facebook page ain't hacked, is it? I'm signing CDs, and my manager called me. He like, hey, somebody hacked your phone. Like somebody hacked your YouTube. I'm like, damn, how the fuck could they hack your YouTube? And it's crazy to me because all the motherfuckers had to do was pay some money, and they could have just did it. They could have just paid me to do it. But the same thing happened to my Facebook page. Same thing happened to my Facebook page. Good looking out, fool. I appreciate that, bro. How did he get all these people in here? That's what I don't understand. I'll be posting shit. This is my first time really going live, like talking to the camera and shit, but I don't know how the fuck he get all them people in. This motherfucker still talking about he got 2,000 motherfuckers on there. I'm like, I don't know how. Oh, my bad, Queen. I'm sorry. This is all love. Yeah, man. So I don't know. But now I only got one viewer, but it was 2,000 people here. Maybe they just had it on for so long or something, you know? I don't know. Did you buy this? Did you buy this new album? Did you buy it? You got to go to thecripstore.com and buy it. Thecripstore.com. You got to buy it. It's thecripstore.com. Autograph. It's pretty tough. Came out really good. Damn. That fast almost. These people crazy. I lost my Facebook page. My Facebook page had 100,000, 112,000 people. My Facebook page had 100,000 people. I got you right now. My Facebook had 120,000 people, so. Motherfuckers be going live on Facebook. This motherfuckers be going live on YouTube. This where it's at. You got to be a different motherfucker to go live on Instagram. Oh, much love, Brody. Yep. Shout out to the Brown Berets. San Pedro, huh? Yeah, that's right. I've been to San Pedro. You get this new album yet? Cancel These Nuts. Oh, shout out to Torrance. Torrance used to be crazy. You get a ticket to Torrance, your ass going to prison. You know what? I was finna go live on Instagram. But shit, I might need to go live here because it looked like I ain't got nobody in my live anyway. Oh, you can. Oh, yeah, that's right. Crenshaw Stalker. Nigga, I don't know. My Facebook got hacked. Cause my fucking my motherfucking YouTube got hacked. Cause I don't know. Still called me. Still called me. He was like, "Hey, nigga, somebody playing stock machines on your motherfucking YouTube." I'm like, "Slot machines?" He like, "Yeah, they playing the slot machines." I'm like, "I ain't on no motherfucking. I ain't in no motherfucking Vegas. The fuck I look. How I got a slot machine?" And he was just telling me. So I had to go change all my passwords and all that. But what happened was The homie Stymie shit. But you know what? We gonna go live here. It's say 5 people. We gonna go live here. I was gonna go live on Instagram, but I'm gonna go live here. I'm gonna tell you what's been on my mind, right? I did a really dope podcast with Mr. Criminal. I don't know if y'all heard of Mr. Criminal. I think you heard of I got you. You know what? If you buy 1 CD, I'll send you a shirt. Tell me your size, and I'll send you a free shirt to go with that for making sure you let me know. So how about that? You buy the CD, and I give you a free shirt. Just tell me, just send me your receipt number, and I include a free shirt in there. But long story short, I did a dope podcast with Mr. Criminal. And I did a dope podcast with Mr. Criminal, right? And we was having a really interesting conversation. And it was about he was asking me what was wrong with the West Coast? Like, what was the problem? Like, is it just to the place that niggas is hating? Is it just to the point that niggas is actually like niggas what people say the politics of being in the LA because of the gangs, is that what was wrong with the hip hop scene? And I was like, nah, man, it's like niggas just got to be doper. But it gave me some deep thoughts, and I wanted to go through these ideas with y'all, right? So hip hop is street urban culture, right? It's different than jazz. It's different than R&B. It's different than rock and roll. Some of those things are attached with culture, but hip hop is unique because it's the one thing that the culture matters first. And if you look up the word culture, culture is a really overused word that I don't think people know what it means. I'm finna look it up right now. Hold on one second. The definition of the word culture is the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievements regarded collectively. The customs, art, social institution achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group. Right? And that makes it sound really general. You know what I mean? You hear the word culture and you think everybody have culture, and it's not. Truly, the word culture belongs to poor people. Like, pizza is part of Italian culture, but it's part of poor Italian culture, right? It's part of poor Italian culture. You know what I mean? And then everybody else just celebrates it alone. You know, all the middle class, all the wealthy people start to celebrate poor culture. Tacos is a part of poor Mexican culture. You know what I'm saying? It's the combination of trying to put a lot of shit together. So when we say street urban culture, when we talk about hip hop, we talking about the way specifically this community, how they speak, how they live, you know what I mean, how they dress, what they eat, the rules, the conditions, the morality, every part of life there, right? That's how you get to the term culture. Hip hop is the one genre where it's culture than music. It's the reason why you can have a bunch of people that aren't musicians making successful music. Somebody like Dr. Dre had been making hits for 30 years and never knew how to play the piano. Like, when I first met Dr. Dre in 2004, he was just learning how to play the piano. Like, that can't happen in any other genre of music. There's no other genre of music where the person that's making the music don't know how to play an instrument and you're going to be successful for 30 years. Dr. Dre was successful, you know what I mean, since I think he made his first record for World Class Wrecking Crew. It was called Surgery. That was his first record. He had made other songs, but that was his first record that was celebrated. So he didn't even know how to play the piano then, right? He didn't know how. This is the only genre. Hip hop is the only genre that leads with the culture first, right? So he was making smash hits. He had made hits off for NWA, Eazy-E, 6 in the Morning. He had made Boys in the Hood. He had made hits for all kind of people. Snoop Dogg, himself, Exhibit. You feel me? Tupac, Eminem, without knowing how to play an actual instrument. This can only happen in hip hop because hip hop is the first genre and the only genre that doesn't lead with the music first. It leads with culture first. So because culture is birthed out of necessity, right? Oppression, right? And poverty. That's the combination that creates culture. The reason we use this lingo and this slang is because we don't have great education programs. Our parents aren't overly educated, so we don't come up speaking American English in its most properest form. Slang is birthed because you don't know how to use certain lingos. You have to still make do and communicate. The motherfucking fashion, right? You talk about Dickies, Cortez, Chucks. Those are the cheapest things. You know what I mean? As far as Black LA go. Like everybody used to shop at HP, Huntington Park. So you bought work clothes because you could buy 5 or 6 pair of pants. You know, a parent could buy 5 or 6 pair of pants and start school for $50. You bought Chucks because you could buy 5 pair of Chucks for $50. You know, you could give your kid a variety even though you didn't have the money. So that's where you get the birth of culture, right? The clothes, the way you see Snoop and NWA and all these people dress is because their parents didn't have money. So they had to have pride in what they could afford. That pride is what we call culture. The way we speak, perfecting the way we speak, not speaking proper American English, not wearing clothes, but making stylish things out of affordable things. That's where culture is birthed at. That's the cornerstone of hip hop. You know, when you see Run DMC wearing track suits and shit like that, that's how the drug dealers dressed. That Adidas, that's how the drug dealers dress. So they started dressing the way the streets dress. Hip hop didn't create the trend of it. They just made it popular to other people that was outside of that street urban community, right? So again, everything comes from the street. Hip hop is the only genre where the culture comes before the music, right? And he was asking me what needed to happen in LA. And they was like, oh man, you don't think culture needs to evolve? And I'm like, well, look at it like this. There's 3 street urban cultures that have been covered in Los Angeles. Well, right? Or 4. Gangbanging, gangster rap, right? Gangbanging. Street, like that whole street, like that outlaw, that cowboy. That same thing the West has always had, the Wild Wild West. That cowboy shit. That shit has been covered since the 1800s. You know what I mean? Before they was Crips and Bloods, they were cowboys. You celebrated Billy the Kid. You celebrated Wyatt Earp. You celebrated cowboys. That's just like gangbanging. It's the same shit, right? Same fucking shit. You celebrated that. You have the skating, right? They've been making movies about street skaters in Los Angeles since like the late 80s, early 90s. I remember being a kid seeing a movie called Gleaming the Cube. Gleaming the fucking Cube. That's what the movie was about. Skating. That's a street activity in Los Angeles, right? Pimping, right? That's a huge thing in LA. Sugar Free, Pimping and Player. Too Short's whole career is built off pimping. The street culture on the West that we call pimping, right? And then you have flocking. Rest in peace to Draco, YG. They came through that culture as well as connected to their culture, right? Flocking it's a whole style. It's popular cars. It's the way they talk. Draco made a lot of lingo that he don't get a lot of credit for, you know what I mean? And it came from flocking, and that's what he did his thing with, right? He's the originator of a lot of the lingo for it. The point is, without a movement of people that speak the same, dress the same, based off of the conditions forced more people to have Dickies. You know what I mean? So Dickies became acceptable. The conditions forced Chucks and Cortez to be, you know, acceptable. Like that was the bottom line of being an LA person that was, you know, outside fucking around. So fast forward back to the point, I'm saying it's hard for LA street culture to go to another place, right? Because guess what? There's no real poverty in LA like that no more. Right now, you either homeless or you just broke because you're paying too much mortgage, you're paying too much rent. So therefore, it's hard for a culture to evolve when there's no place to go. Long as niggas is Crips and Bloods, like long as McDonald's is McDonald's, you feel what I'm saying? It's going to be the same shit. Like imagine telling McDonald's they need to rebrand. McDonald's at this point in their fucking career, right? As you know, you're talking about 70 years of success, 70 years of notoriety of being the #1 fast food chain in the world, the originator of fast food chains, the #1 fast food chain in the world. Imagine them telling them McDonald's they need to rebrand. Imagine telling McDonald's you need to get rid of the golden arches. Imagine. Imagine how foolish that sounds. Imagine how foolish that sounds. That shit is foolish. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine telling McDonald's they need to rebrand. I appreciate that. Shit is dope. I thank you. But imagine telling McDonald's they need to get, that's like telling the West Coast you need to get rid of the Dickies and the Cortez. It's the equivalent of telling McDonald's you need to get rid of the Golden Arches. I don't give a fuck how old the Golden Arches is. McDonald's ain't gonna get rid of the Golden Arches. They just not gonna do that. Imagine half of the reason we shop at, we stop at McDonald's. The reason, no grown-up people make McDonald's pop. Kids make McDonald's pop. McDonald's is in business because of children. You drive your kid down the street, they see them motherfucking Golden Arches, cuz they gonna tell you to pull your motherfucking ass over and get a Happy Meal. That's what they gonna tell you. They not finna be, it ain't about adults. When we get older, we want a better burger. We want better fries. We want better everything. We gonna go to our ass to Five Guys. We gonna take our ass to In-N-Out. McDonald's is where you go when a lot of shit is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And you just need to get something. It's late, ain't nothing else open. So you go to McDonald's. Or like that's how the Jack in the Box tacos work the same. So the equivalent of West Coast street urban brand like gangster rap branding is really rooted, you feel me, in like, is really rooted in that poverty. You know what I'm saying? And what we represent, facts, or barbecue ourselves, true. But what we represent, you feel me, the Golden Arches, the Dickies, the Chucks, the Pendletons, that's like our Golden Arches. That's the Golden Arches. That's the brand of being a gang member or a street LA person. NWA wasn't talking about being a gang member, but they was gangsters. They was cowboys. Imagine telling cowboys need to rebrand. They need to take off the hats and the chaps. You just would look stupid. So a lot of the young artists that's coming up, I understand their dilemma and their problems, but it's like, bro, like, imagine going to McDonald's, you just starting to work in McDonald's, and you like, well, we need to change our uniform, and I'm tired of seeing the Golden Arches. You a kid. You just walked into legacy. It's simple. If you want legacy to be that way, all you got to do is disconnect yourself from the legacy. Stop saying you from the West. Stop saying you from California. Stop saying you a Crip. Stop saying you from Compton. Don't say that, because everybody know what McDonald's look like. And you ain't finna change their motherfucking mind with the silly shit you talking about. Imagine you just got a job as a 15-year-old kid in high school and you come trying to tell McDonald's they need to change their brand. Then people gonna look at your stupid ass crazy. That's what it's like when they're trying to change the brand of West Coast hip hop. It's already spoken for. That motherfucking flag shit been threw up in the air. It's the biggest thing ever. Snoop Dogg is the greatest hip hop artist ever. You know what I mean? Like, if you ever say Crippin' in West Coast, the first nigga they gonna name is Snoop Dogg. And that's the thing, because it's still Crips and Bloods in LA. Right now, every artist coming up, if they say like, oh, I don't want to be like this, or I don't want to be like this. You want to be a Crip though. So guess what? Niggas know what Crips look like. Niggas know what Crips look like. You can't tell the world what Crips look like. You can't tell the world. They know it. Nigga, they'll argue you down on what Crips look like. I've been here my whole life, and they're going to argue me down about what a Crip is. Because guess what? Snoop been told them. Tookie been told them. They knew about all these people before. They knew about Tookie before I was born. These people that saw Rocket and Colors, they just saw Doughboy and Boys in the Hood. They done heard of NWA, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, all this shit before I even became a rapper. Exhibit, DJ Quick, it's a list. Tone Loc, 1,000 motherfuckers they heard of before they heard of me. And I'm finna walk up one day, 20 years after this shit been cracking, and tell them they need to see something different. They done celebrated this their whole life. I'm telling you, it's the equivalent of walking in McDonald's, cuz trying to tell these people they need to take the Golden Arches down. A lot of people fighting a dying battle. You ain't finna win that battle. And I know it because I've been a genuine Crip my whole life. For at least since 14, 13 years old. I grew up in Crip neighborhoods. I've been a Crip as long as I could be a Crip, even before I was off the porch, cripping, doing the verb itself. So again, you're not going to change that. Not some nigga. And most niggas want to change it based out of some whole shit of like insecurities or a feeling of not belonging. It's not they want to change it for the better. Ain't no nigga come to me talking about they want to make cripping better. That's why they disconnect. I'm the only nigga that's talking about making cripping better. Every other nigga just disconnect and be like, I'm done with it, because they don't really have a true influence and a true power or a true desire to see the community rise. So yes, hip hop lives and dies with its street urban culture, especially in Los Angeles. It lives and dies with gangbanging. It lives and dies with skating. It lives and dies with pimping. It lives and dies with flocking. All of these cultural lifestyles that have moved and did things across the world. That's how long Crippin' been around. Crippin' been around since the 70s. Crippin' been around. Crippin' started in '69. That's why certain things just ain't gonna happen out here. The whole world know the brand of Crippin'. The whole world know the brand of LA, and you're not gonna change their mind. Especially, nigga, you just came out the other day. This shit 40 years in the making. They've been talking about LA street life since the 80s. It's been in Hollywood films. I think Colors did like $40, $50 million. $40, $50 million. You think you're gonna wake up and tell niggas something different? They've been living with this shit for 40 years. It's different though, right? Because with Chicago, right? With Chicago is different. With like let's say right now, right? The reason the West Coast and New York hip hop is struggling is because our street cultures have been overexposed, right? We know everything about New York and LA street life. We've been seeing it since the 80s. Crush Groove is in the 80s. If I ask y'all name a drug dealer from New York that's popular, you can name probably 2 or 3 of them. If I ask you to name a drug dealer from Los Angeles, you can probably name 1 or 2 of them. If I ask you to name a popular Crip, you can name 1 or 2 of them from New York and from LA, right? You can name them. But look at where hip hop is doing well at right now. Sexy Red might be the 4th artist we ever really heard of on a mainstream level from St. Louis. Nelly being number 1, Chingy being 2, Jaquan being 3. It was 3 niggas in the 80s in Los Angeles from out of Los Angeles. You had Eazy-E, that was global, Ice-T, that was global, and you had fucking Ice Cube and Tone Loc, that was global. Them niggas was global in the 80s. Quick was national in the 80s. Like, or at least the 90s. That was 3, 4 niggas then. Right now in St. Louis, we're talking about 4 national acts total. Like, that's a ghetto. Memphis. Nigga, if I ask you to name a popular drug dealer from Memphis, you can't tell me what, because they haven't been covering. Hollywood hasn't monetized their culture and broadcasted their culture for 40 years. Y'all can't tell me 1 drug dealer from Memphis. And it's some popular drug dealers. The only thing you're going to be able to tell me from Memphis is 3 6 Mafia and Barbecue. And then you can start telling me about rappers that just started the other day. You can't tell me about a if I ask you to name a popular gangster from Chicago, you can name 1, Larry Hoover. You can't even name a second one. And Chicago is an overexposed urban street culture. Chicago is huge. That's why Kanye would say Southside Chicago, because all of us knew when that nigga said Southside Chicago, that's black people in street. We didn't even, most of y'all don't even know Southside Chicago got a suburbs, like Long Beach can have a suburb. Niggas don't even be thinking that. New York, you can name Nicky Barnes. You can name Frank Luke. They have made films about urban street life. New Jack City, urban street life for years. This shit is 30 years old. You know, Beach Street, you know what I mean? Crush Groove, urban street life for years. Hell, the movie fucking Warriors is based out of New York. And you got to think, Chicago's street life has been broadcasted. They've been celebrating Chicago street life since the 20s. Al Capone and them is in the 20s and the 30s and shit. It's 100 years of Chicago celebrating street life. Even before black street life, They were celebrating white street life in Chicago, cuz. White street life. White street life. Italian street life. Irish street life. Jewish street life. So again, that's what's wrong with the West Coast. What's wrong with the West Coast is we've been having it our way this whole time and the world heard it. So it's our job to recover culture, right? To bring it to kids and new generations that didn't know about it, to claim it and say, look, you never seen this. And then to people that have been exposed to it, you know what I mean? Hey, y'all remember this? That's what West Coast hip hop, in my mind, the direction needs to go. It cannot constantly go. You're not going to remake the wheel, bro. It just ain't going to happen. You're not going to remake the wheel. You're not. Because niggas is still Crips and Bloods here. Niggas is still Crips. You wonder why? And people been talking about Atlanta, right? Everybody talking about Atlanta. Atlanta used to be killing. You know why Atlanta ain't doing like it used to do no more? Because Atlanta done got ritzy as a motherfucker. Atlanta don't have no, it ain't a ghetto like it used to be. Like when I first went to Atlanta, Bankhead was the ghetto. Bankhead got gentrified 13 years ago. That's why. Just like LA, the Jordan Downs getting tore down. They putting all kind of movie theaters and Nike towns and all that shit. You lose your ghetto, you lose hip hop. Hip hop is on the verge of being gentrified, no different than rock and R&B. Right now, the most successful person that people even affiliate with hip hop is a Jewish kid that can say nigga. It's not somebody who grew up in the urban street communities like when it first started for 30 years. It's the number one person and people in hip hop is celebrating that they feel is hip hop is a Jewish kid that can say nigga. A person that grew up Jewish their whole life in a Jewish suburb in another country that can say nigga. And that's Drake. It's happening. It's happening. The same thing that happened to rock and roll, same thing happened to R&B. Right now, they're not even calling R&B singers R&B singers. They calling them neo-soul singers. They're not even calling them R&B singers no more. They calling them neo-soul singers. Trip off that. They're not calling them R&B singers. They call them motherfuckers neo-soul singers. Neo-soul singers. Neo-soul singers, man. So the same thing that happened to jazz. Right now, when people think of jazz, for the last 20 years, a couple underground niggas think of Terrence and some other niggas, but for the last 20 years, you think of a white man with long, kind of blonde hair playing a saxophone over pop music. That's what you think of jazz. That's what jazz has been. R&B is a bunch of white people, Sam Smith. Rock and roll, you ain't affiliated a nigga with rock and roll. Right now, Lil Uzi is telling everybody to affiliate himself with rock and roll, and niggas will not do it. They like, no, he a hip hop or he a rapper. Like this nigga is telling you he's a rock and roll superstar, but y'all telling him, oh no, you a rapper because you black, because you from Philly. Like it wasn't niggas from Philly. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't niggas from Philly playing rock and roll when rock and roll started. Like it wasn't a nigga from Philly playing rock and roll when rock and roll started. Think about that. It wasn't a nigga playing rock and roll when rock and roll started. You ain't seen a nigga. Right now, Uzi saying, I am a rock star. And y'all like, no, you not a rock star. You a hip hop artist. You a rapper. That's like the most racist shit in the world. So when people asking me, what's up with hip hop on the West and why is it struggling? It's struggling because they literally are eliminating poverty. You could be broke and live in LA, but you can't be poor. Poor is about a mind state, how you live your life, how you take pride in the situations, people being able to lounge and blah, blah, blah. That's dead. If you live in Watts, where I grew up at on 117th Street, the motherfucking mortgage at this point is $2,800 to $3,000 for a house. Can't nobody sit in this motherfucking gangbang. Everybody need a job. Ain't no hanging out. Nigga, you need to work overtime. You need to work overtime. That's where it's at. You need to work overtime. That's how bad it is. You need to work overtime. Ain't no more sitting out here talking no so. Take your ass to school. You could be broke and live in LA, but you can't be poor. If you poor, you either on Skid Row or you not in LA. You moved your ass to Texas, you move your ass to Vegas, you move your motherfucking ass to Phoenix, or you move your ass to the South. But you is not staying your poor ass out here no longer. Them people are pricing poverty out this motherfucker. That's what gentrification does. It prices poverty out. Now you can be broke here, but you can't be poor here. And I know they feel the same, dog, but they different. They different. They fucking different. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong with hip hop on the West Coast. Our culture, like New York culture, has been overexposed. They know everything there is to know about us. They just made a TV show about a drug dealer in LA for years. It was on for 6-7 years. Snowfall. It's about a Los Angeles drug dealer. They made movies about Crips, Tookie, and then make-believe Crips. They have films and movies about gangster rap, straight out of Compton. Our culture has been covered. It's been overexposed. So you got to be ridiculously talented and dope to really make a splash today. You got to get super creative. You got to get super creative, dog. You got to get super creative because it ain't no more room for that bullshit. It ain't no more room for that bullshit. What's up with it, dog? But that's what's going on with West Coast hip hop. That's what's going on with it. Hip hop is the only genre that culture comes before the music. And our culture, a lot of the shit that we represent has went mainstream. It's kids who grew up in other places, in other states, that grew up with Crips and Bloods their whole life. They do not know Crips and Bloods came from LA. Nor do they give a fuck. And nor should they give a fuck. You can't tell no kid in Jersey that's 18 years old that Crippin' started in LA and he's supposed to give a fuck. Man, he grew up with Crips his whole life. He been knowing Crips his whole life. He don't give a fuck where. That's like telling a kid, a LA kid who grew up with hip hop their whole life or listening to rap music, that rap music started in New York. And they don't give a fuck. All they know is niggas around the corner rap. They don't give a fuck where it started at. They do not give a fuck where it started at. Stymie, what up? Man, them motherfuckers hacked in my YouTube from your shit. No, for real. Hell yeah, they was on this motherfucker with slot machines and everything, cuz. I had to change all my passwords. Huh? No, there you go. I swear, nigga, no lie. Everybody hit me. They was like, Glass, they on your live. Still was freaking out, nigga. You hear me? I had access to your live, bro. Yeah, no, you had access to my YouTube. Yeah. Now I gotta reactivate your shit, but yeah, you did. I swear to God. I swear on my life, nigga, I still. Call still. Yeah. All right, I'm on YouTube Live now explaining to everybody what happened, but giving them some information. Yeah, no, I swear to God, nigga, because I swear that's why. I had to get on here because they hacked my fucking YouTube and they was playing slot machines. That's what Joey and them, that's the LA Giants. Look, they like, what happened? Like everybody asking me what happened. I swear, I just deleted. I swear to God, I deleted it all. It was 4 different lives, cuz they had all slot machines. I swear on life. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna hit you back once I get off this live. The homie think I'm lying shit. So what happened was the homie Stymie Instagram got hacked. Stymie is like my mind and shit. Like he know a lot of shit that I'm trying to do. So he be telling me how to do it and shit. But Stymie had access to my YouTube. Stymie had access to my YouTube. So that's what happened. So yeah, that's the point. So let's just recap. Let's just recap and go through it all and shit and make it make sense, right? It's like everybody just been on me about, let's recap. Everybody just been on me. Like I just did this really dope interview with Mr. Criminal. Y'all go check it out on his page. It's on his YouTube, Mr. Criminal. Super dope, Mr. Criminal Glasses Malone. Right? Everybody was just on there. And he asked me what was wrong with West Coast hip hop. Why was it struggling? What did I think was wrong? Well, it's not played out. Like that's the thing. Like it's not played out, right? West, like it's not the 90s West Coast shit. That's the forever West Coast shit. That's like calling the golden arches at McDonald's the 80s McDonald's. The 90s West Coast shit'll never play out. It's permanent, like McDonald's. That's the problem. Nobody else around the country sees it as played out. Only people in LA think it's played out. When you go to fucking Japan, dog, them niggas is in low riders wearing dickies. Look at their pictures. When you go to another fucking state and them niggas is gangbanging and hanging out, when you in Atlanta and them niggas saying Neighborhood 6 show and they wearing dickies and chunking up big ends and all that, they don't think it's played out. Only niggas at home think it's played out. When you go to these states, I'm in Jersey, niggas wearing Cortez and all that, they don't think it's played out. You think it's played out because you've been blessed with it too long. So you don't understand what makes it successful. That's why you feel like it's played out. Nigga, a Big Mac will never be played out. A Big Mac will never be played out, bro. A cheeseburger at McDonald's will never be played out. It's impossible. It's a classic, nigga. A 64 Impala will never play out. It's a classic. West Coast culture, not the 90s, the only West Coast culture that niggas know about is classic. It'll never play out. It's like a Grand National. It'll never play out. It's like a 64 Impala. It'll never play out. It's like All-Stars. They'll never play out. Never. It's never. Nobody ain't never went to McDonald's and tried to order the newest thing on the fucking menu, cuz. That's how you, this what I'm saying, real world life. Like, you got to remember this. Nobody goes to McDonald's, cuz, and order the newest thing on the menu. Only 2 people. Everybody else come for the classics. Ain't nobody going to McDonald's and not wanting the fries, my nigga. Nobody going to McDonald's and want the salad. Nobody give a fuck it's going to kill you. Niggas come for the fries, bro. It'll never play out. Never. Crippin' will never play out. It's not a pride in our youngsters. It's not, so let me restart, right? The birth of hip hop culture, right, on the West, or street urban culture in the West is different, right? It's different. People wore Dickies, Chucks, Cortez because they was cheap. When all these people, moms didn't have no money, but they wanted to get their kids shit for school and this, that, and the third. They wanted to get their kids shit for school. And they like, I need to get my kids multiple pants, but I only got $150 for the whole school shopping. That's it, $150. But you want to get your kids at least 5 pair of pants. You want to get your kids at least 5 pair of shoes. You want to get your kids at least some shirts, different shirts to wear. So guess what? You bought the worker pants, the Dickies, because you can get 5 pairs for $50. You bought the Chucks and the Cortez, you get 5 pairs for $50. That's what our older homies started to take pride in, because they didn't have nothing. And everybody from the East was only shopping at HP because that's where the shopping went for poor people. So that's why they started wearing them Dickies. That's why they started wearing them Chucks. That's why them Cortez came about. That shit was cheap. So they had to have pride. That's where culture comes from. You be proud of, this is all you got, so you make it something to be proud. That's it. You be proud. That's it. So it's not, we're not teaching our kids to be proud of it. Them little niggas ain't poor. Them little niggas' parents might be broke, but them little niggas ain't poor. So guess what? There's no culture in it. There's no culture in these young niggas. That's it. They don't have no culture. They're not poor. They didn't grow up poor. They might have grew up broke, but their mama wasn't on drugs. They didn't grow up poor. They couldn't grow up in that kind of condition to create the pride that niggas had that got passed down to us because our parents was coming out of it. That's what it is. Hip hop is the first genre. It's the only genre that the culture leads first. It's the only genre that the culture leads first. The culture don't lead first in rock and roll. You got to be able to play. The culture don't lead first in jazz. You got to be able to play. The culture don't lead first in R&B. You got to be able to sing. The culture don't lead first in none of those things. It don't lead first in none of those things. Hip hop, Dr. Dre, when I met Dr. Dre in 2004, he was just learning how to play the fucking piano. He had been making hits for 20 years without knowing how to play no instrument. 20 years he been making hits. 20 years. 20 fucking years. He didn't know how to play a fucking instrument. This is the only genre that happens because it's the only genre that don't lead with motherfucking music first. It leads with culture first. DJ Quick is as good and probably a better musician than Dr. Dre. But Dr. Dre took advantage of the culture. When Quick wasn't doing that, Quick was just being an artist. And Tonight came out, he was walking in the poppy field with all the purple flowers on Tonight. You know, he was being an artist. Dr. Dre, when it came out with G-Thang, it was motherfucking the culture. It was them cars. It was them Dickies and them Chucks. It was cheap beer. Cheap beer. Malt liquor. Cheap beer. It was cheap beer. It was about being poor. That's what niggas don't get. So it's not that the pride ain't passed on to the next generation, bro. They're not poor. But the thing that they don't get, and this is what I used to tell them all the time, because the thing they don't get, you can't be talking about fashion and shopping at a department store. Even if that department store is Neiman and Marcus, my nigga, because that ain't fashion. Macy's ain't fashion. That's not fashion. Fashion is a boutique thing. Fashion is a boutique thing. I mean, listen. Listen, cuz. Listen. I'm not guessing. I'm not guessing. I'm giving you something I paid for with years and years and blood, sweat, and tears and learning, cuz. I'm not guessing. I'm telling you. I did my homework. I'm not guessing. I'm not guessing, nigga. I'm telling you. This is why it's that way. Hip hop is the genre where music comes second behind culture. Like I said a second ago, it's not the West Coast culture is played out. The West Coast culture has been sensationalized, almost to the point where it's mainstream through all ghettos. If you say gangbanging is played out, you can't tell that to no another nigga in no other state. They'll beat your motherfucking ass and kill you behind this shit. They'll beat your ass and kill you. You go over there and be like, you guys are this. Man, them niggas, them Grape Streets out in Jersey will wring your fucking neck and kill your stupid ass. Them motherfucking A-Trays in New York and them motherfucking 180s in the Bronx will kill you. Them motherfucking Schwans in Staten Island will kill you. They'll kill you behind this shit. They'll kill you. Them Brims in Staten Island, excuse me, they'll kill you, dog. You go to Atlanta, you start talking shit about them 6-0 niggas, them neighborhood niggas in Atlanta, them niggas will kill you. You can't, I just did a verse for a nigga, man. A nigga in Detroit that has a lowrider shop. I did a verse for this nigga for 2 piston pumps, a back pump, and a square dump. He's from Detroit. He's from Detroit. And that's another thing. Rapping about the bag ain't it. There's nothing wrong with telling a nigga to get to some money, but all you niggas talking about, me and Joey talk about this all the time, cuz rappers then got real lame, because all you niggas do is talk about poor people. That's all you do. Niggas don't get along because they broke. Bitch, we all come from the ghetto. Shut your stupid ass up. But that's what's wrong. It's not enough niggas telling these niggas. Niggas sit back and don't keep it real. Stop convincing yourself West Coast culture is played out. You the only West Coast niggas think that. Don't know another nigga outside of motherfucking the West Coast think that. Nobody else think West Coast culture played out. If you show up in any motherfucking town in this motherfucking country outside of California in Dickies and Chucks, ain't nobody gonna be like, man, that nigga look like he played out. Niggas gonna be like, oh, them LA niggas is here. Them LA niggas is here. Them West Coast niggas is here. You could be from the Bay. I'm like, them West Coast niggas is here. Ain't nobody gonna think you played out. Not one fucking person gonna think you played out. Nobody. Only LA niggas are critical of their culture because we've been spoiled by it for years. We've been spoiled by the flavor of it for years. But rest assured, my nigga, it ain't played out to nobody soon as you get up outside this motherfucker. I'm talking about in Vegas. Nigga, a 3.5-hour drive, it ain't played out. Right now, it ain't played out in Vegas. It ain't even been sensationalized, over-sensationalized in Vegas. It ain't been over-sensationalized in Vegas, nigga. It ain't been over-sensationalized in Vegas. Vegas is 3 hours, cuz. 3 hours. Stop playing yourself. I get it. You look at Memphis. You look at St. Louis, where Sexy Red from. You like, oh, man, you know, this look new. This look different. This look new. This look different. My nigga, that's because don't nobody know them niggas. Them niggas could walk in the room and don't nobody know them. Shout out to them niggas, man, because they putting on for their town. But don't nobody know them niggas, man. None of you niggas could tell me a popular drug dealer out of Memphis. You don't know a Freeway Rick of Memphis, even though one exists. You don't know a Frank Lucas out of Memphis, even though one exists. You don't know a Tookie out of Memphis. You don't know a motherfucking Tookie out of Memphis. You don't know a Supreme out of Memphis, even though one exists. You're just now discovering. Sexy Red might be the 4th talent at a mainstream level to ever come out of St. Louis. It's 2023. Nelly, Chingy, Jaquan, Sexy Red. That's the 4 mainstream acts. They've had other acts, but they've been underground. 4 mainstream acts. 4. It was 4 global acts in Los Angeles in the 80s. Global acts. Eazy-E is a global act in the 80s. Tone Loc is a global act in the 80s. Ice Cube is a global act in the 80s. Easy. Like, what are we saying, dog? Ice-T is a global act in the 80s. Ice-T was in films putting on for LA culture. It ain't played out as mainstream, my nigga. And it's not mainstream above broken ground. It's just mainstream. It's mainstream hip-hop. All the ghettos got our shit now. Every ghetto, not every place in America, every ghetto got Crips and Bloods. Every ghetto got this now. Every ghetto got these things now. Most ghettos got low riding now. You can't go to Lakewood and that's normal. Ain't no white people, ain't no motherfucker. It ain't mainstream, like it ain't broke ground, but every ghetto has now implemented us. They been had gangs. They been had gangs. New York been had gangs. Y'all don't let these niggas lie to you. I don't give a fuck what special ed and all them cornball, respect to special ed. Forgive me, OG. You tripping. But the point is, they been had gangs. Now they're titling them with our gang names. They been had gangs. They been had, again, the niggas who created hip hop was some gangsters. The Spades, the Black Spades. Like, they just retitled them to Crips and Bloods. They just retitled them niggas' names. They been had street, they been crime, been happening. Niggas been getting shot in New York, Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh. Don't let these niggas lie to you like this rap shit corrupted them. You niggas been some shit. Niggas in the ghetto is fucked up, my nigga. Just how it happened. Al Capone been doing drive-bys since the 20s. Don't let these niggas fool you and make it look like we created some shit that ain't been happening. Al Capone and them niggas in the 20s in Chicago, the white folks was doing drive-bys in the 20s. Just look at the films. They show you. They'll roll by you and lay your ass out. The mafias in the 60s, 50s, 70s, drive-bys, wear your ass out. But if everybody tell the story, Crips implemented this. Nah, nigga, we an extension off them crack-ass cowboys. That's all we is. All them Wyatt Earps and Billy the Kids that y'all celebrate, Wyatt Earp, Billy the Kids, and all them people y'all celebrate, we just extensions of them. We just extensions of them. The first LA street gang is White Fence in East LA, and they still exist right now. We just made the shit popular and fun, and we made it look like everybody wanted to be it. We celebrate our poverty. We celebrate the fact we don't got it. See, everything they tried to push on niggas, that's what hip-hop is. You tried to put us down and make us shit. Well, guess what? We took that lemons, and we made fucking lemonade. And now we got all the lemonade stands in America. You can't get mad that we took that and you tried to fuck us over and we made it something special. That's what hip-hop is, especially from the West. That's what you hear when you hear my shit. You hear that. That's what you hear when you hear NWA shit. You hear like, oh, I don't give a fuck how fucked up you tried to make my life. I don't give a fuck if I can only afford these $10 pants. That's all I can afford is these Dickies. I'm going to crease them motherfuckers and I'm going to rock them. I'm going to crease them motherfuckers and I'm going to rock them. Oh, y'all didn't give my mama no money? Oh, y'all brought drugs so my mom hooked on them. All she can get was these $10 pants. All she can give me was these $10 Cortez, these $10 Chucks. All I could afford is a white t-shirt. Watch me rock it. I rock it. That's what culture is. Oh, y'all, the education program's bad. Y'all got under teachers that ain't that good, that can't teach proper English. We don't know this English. Okay, no problem. We're going to make our own language. We call it slang. That's what hip-hop is. It's that taking the fucked up situations and making it something to be proud of. Even with the poverty, you're proud of it. Even when you make it poverty, you make yourself proud of it. That's what this shit is. So I don't want to hear no nigga telling me that the West Coast is played out and blah, 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 blah. Bitch, a Big Mac can never play out. A Big Mac can never play out. How the fuck could the West play out? Bitch, this is the Big Mac. Crips and Bloods in every town. It's only played out to yo ho ass. Because niggas is still doing it right now, every day. It's nothing. It's nothing right now across the world. It's only played out to you. You spoil with it. So any of the little rap niggas from LA that don't take it, you stupid. Imagine going to McDonald's and not getting the French fries. Nigga, you don't even understand what this shit is about. That's like you go to McDonald's and don't, oh, the McDonald's French fries is played out. Bitch, that's a classic. Like this motherfucking gangster shit is a classic. Like these Dickies is a classic. Like these Chucks is a classic. Like these Cortez is a classic. Only thing you got to do is tailor them to fit. Resize them motherfuckers. But it's a classic. It's a classic. It's a motherfucking classic. Stop playing yourself, man. Don't get it fucking confused, nigga. Don't get it confused. Don't get it fucking confused. You are motherfucking birthed into some phenomenal shit. If you grew up in this motherfucking place that we call Greater Los Angeles, you are birthed to a phenomenal place. A renaissance. You are part of a renaissance if you come up in this street urban life that we call LA street life. You are blessed. How you take it and make something with it is your motherfucking choice. But trust me, you sitting down watching some other nigga rapping from some other town trying to be a LA nigga is not the solution. You emulating a nigga like Thug who want to be a LA nigga, who want to say he a blood, who want to be everything we is, and you emulating Cuz is ridiculous because you him. He trying to be you. 7th Street Crip, he trying to be you. If you a rapper and you emulating them niggas want to be us. Them niggas want to be us. Them niggas want to be us. I ain't never went to no. When I fuck with Birdman, shout out to Stunner, shout out to Slim, shout out to Toon, shout out to the homies, bro. I knew what it was. When I walked in, I was that nigga the first day. I'm not trying to be a hot boy. Them niggas is trying to be Crips and Bloods, bro. And I never forgot that. And I always carried myself that way. I don't give a fuck where I went in this country. I don't give a fuck where I went on this planet. I was Glasses Low from 7th Street Watts. And everywhere I went, they respected it. Because this nigga LA is that. LA is that. It'll never play out. This shit'll never play out. Big Macs will never play out. Cheeseburgers will never play out. McDonald's fries will never play out. It's a classic. It's a motherfucking classic, dog. So stop playing yourself. There is no other fucking culture. There's only been a handful of cultures that ever come from the West. Street urban cultures, there's only been a handful. Only a fucking handful. It's only a handful, bro. So stop playing yourself. Stop trying to emulate other niggas that's trying to emulate your niggas. And figure out how to be yourself in your niggas. It'll never play out. It'll never play the fuck out, man. Never play out. Ever. So when you listen to my shit, that's why niggas can't fuck with it. That's why niggas can't fuck with me. Because I know who we are and I know what I am. All I had to do was figure out the music and the marketing to help y'all understand. Because I know what it is. Oh, and best believe Snoop know what it is. Best believe Cube know what it is. Best believe Scarface know what it is. Best believe Jay-Z, when he first met me and wanted to sign me, he knew what it was. Best believe Baby and Slim and Wayne knew what it is. Even when I didn't know what it was. Even when I didn't know what it was, cuz they all saw it. They all saw the culture in Glasses Malone. Even when I didn't really realize it had value, but I still wasn't going to be nobody else but Glasses Low. They all saw it. That's why they signed the niggas like that. Why you think YG is YG, nigga? That's why Jeezy want to fuck with him. We them niggas, man. This is the land, dog. Stop running from it. Stop watching them TVs. Stop watching YouTube, looking at some other rap nigga and blah, 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 because you think this nigga popular for 2 days. You wasting your time, nigga. You got gods walking around this motherfucker of this shit. You got gods, nigga, that came from this shit, that came through hip-hop. Gods, you trying to compare yourself to a nigga you think is hot for 2 days today. It's actual rap gods around this motherfucker. Motherfucking Ice-T is a rap god, a hip-hop god. Snoop Dogg is a hip-hop god. Ice Cube is a hip-hop god. Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, they're hip-hop gods, nigga. Them niggas came and made headphones and movies and motherfucking... One nigga got a whole sports league on TV, cuz. And you trying to be some nigga from Atlanta trying to be Ice Cube. Crip gang, man. Stop playing yourself. Stop being a bitch. Stop playing yourself and stop following these other niggas, man. It ain't nothing there for you. It ain't nothing there for you. And don't you ever think, cuz, don't you ever think for 2 seconds that this shit played out. Don't never think for 2 seconds that this shit played out, my nigga. This shit is a classic. McDonald's will never play out. Big Macs will never play out. Cheeseburgers will never play out. The French fries will never play out. Some things is a classic, nigga. Impalas ain't losing value. They came out of 64. The motherfuckers was $3,000 brand new. Right now, a clean one, if you had one that looked brand new, is worth $100,000. It's a classic. The West Coast, our street scene hip-hop, is a classic. Permanent. Even if you don't know, it's permanent. Ask my nigga from Pittsburgh. Nigga's permanent. Stop being stupid, man. Claim your fucking birthright, dog. Claim your birthright, nigga. Don't be one of these cornballs that don't claim their birthright. Claim your motherfucking birthright, bro. On God.